Isn't it strange that God forbid knowledge from men and women? In the story of Eden, the first big tale of the Bible, the woman is the one who listened to the snake and ate from the fruit of knowledge. But with inverted magic, she has been demonized and taught to be the bad guy in the story that has shaped our collective consciousness for eons. The Garden of Eden is symbolic of the dream state, the deep sleep humans are under, the sleepwalking, lower prison consciousness most humanity is under. That is why it is so perfect, heavenly, and beautiful. It is an illusion created by the so-called God. Let's get something clear, shall we? Once and for all, no real divine God will forbid knowledge. Knowledge is power. It is freedom. So the God in this story of the Garden of Eden is already from the beginning not so benevolent. This God wants Adam and Eve to remain alive because they can eat from the tree of life, right? So he needs them alive. He needs to, we'll talk about this later. But without the truth, without them reaching actual truth and knowledge, and with no access to information, which is light is information, they cannot be free. This God is male and represents the dark masculine force and entities that control humanity, punishing them for seeking the truth, placing the woman below the men, and even tell us that she was created from him, from his rib. Like how ridiculous, absolute joke this is. And then goes on also to blaming the woman for their punishment. This is literally the basis lie that this whole dark masculine society has been built on for so long. All right. This lie has been destroying the feminine and the sacred union as well. But the woman is the one who was in fact the brave one in the story. The one who's seeking knowledge and truth, seeking freedom for both of them, for the man and the woman, for Adam and Eve. And the snake, let's talk about the snake. So the snake is the character in this allegorical story, because remember, this story is allegorical. And it's also full of codes. If you study Kabbalah, and I'm not saying Kabbalah is the ultimate truth, it's absolutely not, by the way. It gives you a very small portion of the truth, like all religions, and that is also makes it very dangerous. But we have to discover the truth. We have to seek it because it is hidden in plain sight, but it is hidden in many different places. Also meant to confuse us. So I'm sorry, let's get back to our point. So the snake in this allegorical tale, excuse me one second, lost where I am again. All right, so it is the character who is in fact the benevolent one. Let's really look at it. I know it might be surprised to some of you, it might trigger some of you, but let's look at it. The snake is actually offering the gift of truth, of information, of knowledge. And it's amazing how knowledge have been demonized since day one. And we're teaching little children that knowledge, this is the symbolic message that we're ingraining into human subconscious mind, that knowledge is forbidden, that knowledge is bad, that knowledge will get you punishment from this God. So the snake was offering the gift of truth and the chance to be set free as being the eternal slaves of this God. Snakes are symbol of deep, deep wisdom. They symbolize the feminine and masculine and the eternal union between them. The snake was in fact a way shower to the sacred union, to wisdom for Adam and Eve, because through the knowledge of sacred union, through the knowledge of sacred union, humans are free and are at their highest capacity. This is what the sisters began also bringing to humanity a few years back through the School of Isis and Lilith. But most people, even today, even who think they are spiritual and learn tantra or spiritual, sexuality, they're not even going to be brave enough to go so deep and to be as committed and honorable to bring forth actual real sacred union. People love to talk about it, but they're not actually going to do the work together. This wisdom is being distorted even today, even in spiritual societies, because it cannot be hidden anymore. So the true wisdom cannot be hidden, but it can be manipulated. And I always talk about inversion magic, of how the dark forces cannot really create something of their own, but they can take the light, they can take the truth, and they can manipulate it and distort it. And this is what they're doing all the time. All right, so now back to the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge offers the truth of who this God really is, how much power Adam and Eve actually have, and perhaps how to set free from the illusion of the garden altogether. God uses fear in telling them they will die if they disobey, and the serpent tells them that they will not die. The reason is that, again, the God or gods, because also if you look at the Hebrew Bible, Elohim is gods in plural. Even the word God itself is a lie, is just a lie. So the reason, again, that God or gods, they need Adam and Eve to be alive. They need their life force, but they need them asleep in the garden with no knowledge of reality. Does this remind you of something that's happening in the world right now and has been happening for so long? Let's continue. And this is, by the way, this is why I always repeat, listen to what I'm saying as a story, right? The Bible is a story, and the Bible is a story that's been created by very dark masculine beings, men, and it has been controlling and manipulating humanity for so long, and bringing people to do horrendous things to each other, and to themselves. And so it's amazing to me that when I say, listen to what I'm saying as a story, people think I'm telling a lie, I'm telling a fable, right? No. The reason that I want you to hear it as a story is because, yes, some of the things that I bring from the temple are so forgotten and so far off from our subconscious mind that most conscious mind of people will not be able to accept it. So if you listen to it as a story, your subconscious mind knows the truth. And your subconscious mind, if you cleanse again, it's about purifying the body. It's about cleansing yourself. It's about really finding your own direct connection to Source and God, and not through an external church or synagogue or spiritual leader or whatever. So listening to, the subconscious understands stories, and it understands symbols. I always repeat this, and I always will, because it's so important that we get back to this basic truth and understanding of how reality and magic works. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the book, The Testimony of Truth. If you haven't read it yet, please read it. I'm going to maybe post you can read it online for free. There's PDFs and things like that. I will post a link down below. In the book, The Testimony of Truth is in fact said that the serpent is in fact Christ. I know this is very weird to hear this, but we will read it. So I'm reading right now from The Testimony of Truth, all right? And which is a book banned from the Bible, of course, like all the other books that had some inkling of the real truth and knowledge. So I'm reading from the book. He made a serpent of bronze and hung it upon a pole. And there's a few lines that are missing from the book when they recovered it. Which for the one who will gaze upon this bronze serpent, none will destroy him, and the one who will believe in this bronze serpent will be saved. For this is Christ. Those who believed in him have received life. Those who did not believe will die. Now, obviously, there is more to talk about the testimony of truth. We can go deeper into this, but it's not important right now. When Adam and Eve are banished from the Garden of Eden, which represents the illusion, it's that illusionary. The Garden of Eden is this, like, fairy tale like dream state, sleep state that Adam and Eve are in, right? So that they don't know the truth. They don't have to see, they don't need to see what's actually going on. They're just in this lovely paradise where everything is perfect, matrix place, like sleep state consciousness. So they're in fact set free when they're banished from the garden, right? When they're banished from the sleep state, they're set free. They're banished from the illusion. They don't actually die. It's only the fear of death. And I also, my last video I did about Kali, sex, and the sacred death, which I really recommend to watch, because we really need to again understand how sex and death, the fear of sex and the fear of death, have been used against us, so distorted. But these two things are our power. If we embrace and understand sacred death and sacred sexuality, the truth about it, we are going to be in our full capacity and power as humanity. Eating the apple in the Garden of Eden story is symbolic to reaching a state of awakening, or at least awareness of who we are and being awake from this illusion, the dream. The apple offers us the truth of our slavery, prison dimension, and with this truth, our willpower to choose a different reality. When one wakes up to truth, even just a bit of it, they cannot go back to living in the illusion. They cannot go back to the Eden, to the dream. And really, that's why most human beings don't want to wake up, because it's kind of scary and shatters your entire world to wake up from the dream. So most human beings are going to defend this illusion with their life and make the people who want to wake them up into the demons. Most humans on the planet today have no desire in knowledge. They have no desire in being truly free, and they want a God. They want a savior. They want someone to punish them and reward them. No matter how false this God may be, or gods, they may be telling them what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Most people just that's what they want. Women, like Eve, are the way showers to men. It has been this way since before the days of the temple, and it has been distorted as well, making a world where selfish men rule and decide on the path of humanity. It is up to us to embody our pure feminine essence. I'm talking to you, sisters. Our inner mother, and guide men to step into truth with us. All right? And really, this is the symbols of this story are very important. Again, Eve is the one who found the snake first, who found wisdom first. And she doesn't just take it to herself. She wants to share it with Adam. This is the job of the feminine. Our connection to sources is clear. It is direct. And our responsibility with this gift is to bring the masculine with us and to contain it in our womb with love. And we are living in a society right now where there is literally men hating groups, women hating groups, and women hating men who hate women and have YouTube channels and talk to men and teach men and coach men on how to manipulate women and lie to them and don't call them and don't, like, it's fucking ridiculous what's happening today. And I always say, we're just a bunch of small wounded children in grown people's bodies, and we need to mature the fuck up. And so it is so sad that men don't understand the true gift that a woman is to them, most men. And it is so sad that we as women, and I speak for myself and I also speak for a lot of other women, because I'm around a lot of women all the time, and there's so many women who just crave to hold and to love the masculine, but we can't do that because we still don't feel safe. Even within the spiritual communities, there are so much bullshitters and liars and manipulators and so many feminized men. And when a man is too much in his feminine, we cannot trust him. And I know that this is a deep wound of the masculine, because a lot of men deep down subconsciously don't want to be that monster. They don't want to be that dark masculine energy. So they go to the other extreme of being too feminized. But this is not the solution. We need you to be in your divine masculine. We need you to be a man. Because if you're in your dark masculine, and if you're in your feminine energy, we won't trust you. We won't feel safe around you. This is something men really need to understand. And also women need to communicate more. This is a difficult thing to communicate. We also don't want to hurt men. A lot of times men say about us that we're bitches, but we actually just don't want to hurt them, which is very ironic. So I know I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. I'm talking too much, but I'm trying to stay focused. I told myself I'm going to be focused today. All right. I can't. I'm feminine. I can't be focused on one thing. All right. So let me go back to this last sentence, please. Women are like Eves in this symbolic story. We are the way showers to men. Also, just like the true teachings and wisdom of sacred sexuality, only women can teach it. And I know that this is a big statement, and I will maybe do another video on it, but only women can teach true divine sacred sexuality. This is the job of the feminine. All right. This is why you see so much BS in the Tantra community with all the male teachers who have no clue what they're doing and just trying to get laid, and don't even let me go there. All right. It has been this way, the way that, feminine are the leaders, are the teachers of this specific things. Men are teachers and leaders in other things. Absolutely. And we need you to be leaders. We really need divine masculine leaders. Like, we needed like air to breathe. But when it comes to this specific codes and knowledge, it is up to women to share the knowledge and bring it in the best way possible, with integrity, with sacredness. And again, it's been like this since the beginning of time, and it has been distorted as well, making a world where selfish men rule and decide the path that humanity takes. It is up to us, sisters, to embody our true divine feminine essence, our inner mother, and guide men to step into truth with us. And again, when I initiate sex priestesses, the main thing that we embody is the mother archetype, is because more than anything, we need healing right now on the planet. We need to return to the mother's love. Everyone, men and women both, even the most cruel people on the planet, that's what their soul craves for. In the story, Eve didn't eat the apple all alone. She shared it with Adam, like we said before. She wanted him to join her and awaken together with her. We cannot do it alone. I'm talking women. Women cannot do this alone. We need men. Men need women. Women need men. And all this stupid, new agenda and manipulation of like, there's no men, there's no such thing as women. It is so dangerous. But I will go into that in later videos. And we all need the serpent. We all need the life force energy, right? Because the serpent also represents the Kundalini life force energy in the divine way, in the wisdom way. Life force energy within us to wake up to truth once more, because this is our freedom. This is how we will be free. Now, stories. Let's talk about stories a little bit again. Any biblical story is allegorical and symbolic, and we must begin to understand the patterns of these stories and how they seek to manipulate the human psyche. And again, this is, I also talked a few times about, for example, movies and Hollywood movies and all stories in our society, because stories come to people, to the writers from different sources, right? And so if you really notice, like, again, I love movies, so like some people don't love movies, don't like to read books, they don't love stories, that's fine. But those of you who like it, pay attention to the patterns. Pay attention to the stories that they keep shoving in your faces all the time. You will learn a lot about the dark wizards. You will learn about the truth of where we're going, where we're heading, what you can do about it. So again, pay attention to the symbols. Symbols are everything. These fake gods, represented by an old powerful god who sits in the sky, punishes and rewards us. These demons who always show humans as bad, as sinners, and the god that promotes rape, child and animal sacrifice, war and suffering as benevolent. This is ridiculous. This is insane. This is inverted magic. And I can't believe people still fall for this shit. It's like ridiculous. I'm sorry. A God that is male, first of all, because who creates? Who has the power for creation? A woman. Woman. All right? And again, it's a God that is male, and he says women are lower beings, when in fact they are the most powerful life bringers and transmuters of all shadow and shit and darkness. And as we saw through the symbolic story, we are also the seekers of truth, the women. And so again, and I'm not talking about all women, obviously there is a lot of women in there, very dark feminine. I'm talking about feminine women who are on their divine path, who are conscious. I'm talking about femininity. Those who offer truth in this society are the snakes. Luckily I have the snake on me to always remind me to be truth forever. This is why the cobra, which is again my little James here, by the way, his name is James, if no one knows. I love my James. He's a white cobra, but obviously I couldn't do a white tattoo, so there he is. This is why the cobra appeared to me back in the days when I was in my own initiation with the temple, preparing to do this work, and showed itself, showed himself as my shadow animal. And I found my shadow and spirit animals way before I understood their meaning, way before, and it's amazing how everything was so connected to the work I'm doing on this planet. It's very magical. Those who offer truth are also condemned, hated, and deeply misunderstood in our society, just like the snake, right? The snake is so feared. People who have entered deep state of consciousness often see snakes, especially in deep psychedelic states. So a lot of people who are doing ayahuasca, also some very few people who are very connected in mushrooms, they can also connect to snake energy. Excuse me. This is because the snakes are the bringers of true knowledge from other dimensions and from our own deep subconscious. Notice that the control of information is getting tighter and tighter in social media, in our world. Notice that notice what they're calling misinformation, right? So again, follow the patterns, follow the story that they're feeding you. When you have something that's been labeled as misinformation, that's also a pattern, that's a story. Notice these, pay attention, open your eyes. Notice the way that they treat women and children on the planet. We treat children and women on the planet. If you're into any religion, at least study it from all angles and don't be fooled by false gods who control you with fear. Please, please, please do this. Be a seeker of truth. Like Eve, whether you are a man or a woman, it is up to us to change the deep ingrained programming of the dark masculine world and birth a new world into life. We can only do this if we seek pure truth and do the work to embody it. We can only do it by refusing to participate in the dark magic rituals of blood sacrifice, of consuming flesh and blood. Awaken our kundalini with sacred sexuality and true sacred union, and live in the pure integrity and maturity of the truth we find. Knowledge is not evil. The manipulation and control of it is. So let us be set free from false gods who are really demonic entities and live in true honor, honoring of men, women, children, nature, the honor and unity of life itself, which is only embodied by a few now, but is a gift for us all.